Good Friday evening, everybody. Welcome to the It's a Wrap Sports Network. I'm Big L. Welcome to the Philly Friday Frenzy. That's right. I go over the whole week with you. We take in what we've heard, what we've complained about, what we yelled about, what we've heard spewed across the airwaves and the intrawebs and everything else in between, and wrap it all up with your boy Big Al tonight. So thank you for joining in on a Friday night. So, because as I always say on Friday nights, that I know it's a long work week and everybody's tired, and so when you come and you join me, I know you're relaxing. Maybe you got your favorite bottle or glass of adult beverages, whatever it is that you're doing. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you talking with me, because we got plenty to talk about here, right? Not as frantic or frenzied as typical. I think now it's kind of we're going to be looking into the future, right? We're looking into the future. We're going to see what the future holds, to be honest, and maybe get a little excited about some Phillies baseball. Maybe get a little excited about the Eagles free agency, the Eagles drafting. With the combine going on, Twitter's a buzz with all the videos with some crazy runs by safeties and some big men making their big runs. I know it's not until the first when we start seeing the big men start really doing their thing, but just watching these top tier athletes do what they do, it's just jealous, to be honest with you. I am jealous. So good evening, my boy Rob. What's going on? Barb's also chimed in a little early for this one. I'll try to get live, but the 9 p.m. is bad. Either early at 6:30 or later or after 10 is better for me. On a Friday after 10 would be like divorce paper time for me, Barb. So maybe I've contemplated. So once the Philly season starts, as you guys know, I do the Titans final on Fridays with the boys here at the It's a Wrap Sports Network, and I'll continue into this season. But I'm going to turn the Philly Friday Frenzy into a mash work of that and the Titans final. So we'll do a little bit of, we'll do Phillies, and then we'll get into the fight. We'll talk about everything else after the fact. So, you'll get me to do that. So it might be a little later when that time comes around, Barb. So that might work better for you. But guys, thank you for joining me tonight, as always. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is you follow me on, or follow It's a Wrap Sports on. We appreciate you. So let's talk about it. It's the same thing. The only thing that's, you don't want to hear about, or you do want to hear about, this has been the biggest. I have a tough feel. I usually have a pretty good feel for things, like how things leaning towards people coming or going or staying or being traded. But the A.J. Brown situation it's a conundrum. I'm still leaning towards he's going to be here. I'm still leaning towards it. Like, I really think that they would have to be wowed by a team to trade him, because you got to wait to the June 1st designation. If not, it's going to cost you a whole lot of dead cap. And he's elite. And he's been kind of on tour, if you want to call that, doing podcasts and in the media and talking about, he loves it in Philly. He appreciates us and all that stuff. Listen, I've said it before. I'll say it again real quick. A.J. Brown is a star wide receiver. So usually that comes with some diva-esque type stuff, and he's a diva. Let's just call him for what he is. I think he can admit to that. I don't think he's blind to this. But it's kind of the good and bad you take with him. Now, the time where diva-esque BS is hard to put up with is when you're not winning, right? When you're winning, you can put up with it. When things are going good, you can put up with it. But when things are going bad, and the way the end of the last season ended up, left a sour taste in my mouth with AJ. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, just because we could have still won that game. And the way the playoffs kind of went about, the Eagles could have been in the mix. I mean, still will be a long shot. Don't get me wrong in the sense that the offense just wasn't clicking. I don't think Kevin Petullo, was going to lead us to the promised land, and there was still a lot of disjointedness. The offensive line still had its issues, but the defense was really good. The defense was winning games. I mean, we saw how that Super Bowl played out, how boring and bland it was from an offensive standpoint. That could have been the Eagles, but again, I'm not ridiculous to say that. We would have been there if we won that game. I mean, but Rob, you're saying AJ's not going anywhere. I don't think so either. And Adam saying's reason, one of the main reasons, the cost teams high draft picks to get Brown, and they're saying first and second round. Now, I'm not sitting there saying it's first and second round this year, or however, if they trade, like, of course New England's always the big name right now because he loves New England. Vrabel had some words that he would love to have AJ Brown here. Who wouldn't? I mean, seriously, like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, of course. Name one coach in this team in this NFL who would say, I don't want AJ Brown on my team. Even the Eagles trading away AJ Brown are not saying they don't want him. They're just saying they've got what they can get out of him. Now sell while the stock is high. And that's the only way that would happen. If stock is high, it's after the June 1st designation, and it's got to be a wow type of offer. And I just don't think anybody's going to pay that. Maybe a first round and a fourth round or a conditional fourth rounder or something like that, or a fifth rounder that can become a fourth rounder, depending on some conditions. That kind of stuff could make a difference. I don't know. But it's I'm leaning towards AJ staying in Philadelphia. Listen, he's still 29 years old, and the other big reason for me is the new offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion. Like, he came in with this presentation apparently, and just wowed the pants off the Eagles. Wow, like, this is my scheme I have. This would fit your personnel that you have, that can get the Eagles right back on track and be that dominant force we know they can, and I can work with AJ. You've got to tell me AJ Brown wasn't part of that. So if that wow moment wasn't selling you, and as it obviously did, it would have to be a pretty big offer for it, for them to even think about it. Petullo sucks. Obviously, Rob, he sucks. And again, I don't even want to say he sucks. He sucked. He sucked at it. He sucked when he was here. He didn't get a good chance. He just didn't get a good chance. He wasn't in a good position. He needed to work with a coach who could help, like, learn the ropes for the first couple of years, or where he wouldn't have so much heat on him being a Philadelphia coach. So I don't want to. I mean, Petullo did suck. Don't get me wrong. My son's saying hello. What's up, Dad? What's going on, Mikey? Go Phils, absolutely, bud. We have to also see how the new offense goes, and if he likes how it goes and he likes the coach. Well, listen, he has to play in this system, I think. Part of me, but he's not gonna get that chance. It's either they're gonna trade him now, or they're gonna, unless he's just trades at the deadline, which I don't see that happening. Unless they just completely S the bed. But I think the scheme, I'm not saying can't be changed without AJ Brown, but it would have. I just don't think the Eagles are actively, we need to trade this guy. Like, this guy needs to go. Like, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that, and that's why I'm leaning towards AJ staying. I just really do think that he's not going away. It's going to cost too much. It might, the designation thing plays a little bit of a factor, but the whole Sean Mannion thing is the reason why I'm thinking, like, this guy goes in there and wows Howie and Nick and all them and says, this is it, man. This is my game plan. Look at this. It's like a centerfold. Comes right out. Like, why would you take away a main piece of that? Unless the price is right. I mean, it's not like you can't get somebody else. You got Devontae Smith still. That's what I'm saying. It's not impossible. So I don't think anybody's wrong on a take in this situation that you feel if he's going to be traded or he's not going to be traded, because this is a coin flip situation. It's not 50-50, I would say. Maybe it's like 60-40, 70-30, maybe. I really don't think the Eagles are actively trying to get rid of him. They're just putting an open door policy that if you want to come off for me some really good knock my socks off type deal, we'll be willing to listen. We'll be willing to listen. I just really don't see it happening in that sense. You guys can chime in, of course, if you think he's going to be traded or why, or what do you think it's going to cost. Other things, Phillies spring training is underway. They had a split squad game today. The first squad went 10-2, won 10-2 over the Marlins. The other squad lost 16-8 to the Detroit Tigers in their first win of the series. Just a really lopsided games. I mean, if you look at it, we scored total points today, 18. They scored total points today, 18. So it's kind of a split your moment if you look at both games together. But the key thing I'm taking away is so far, again, it's spring training. I don't get ahead of myself in spring training. Everybody's just kind of getting their feel for the game. Some guys are coming off injuries. Some guys are coming off bad years, like watching Aaron Nola today, which, I like what I saw. I know, like, if you're like, well, he had one run. It really wasn't his fault. That was Otto Kemp misplaying in the left field. But 2 innings pitched, 1 run was earned, 2 hits allowed, but 2 strikeouts. He looked good. Again, it's who he's pitching against. All that plays a factor in it. Just you have to look individually and listen. We're not going to have these guys here much longer because Harper and Schwarber and Turner are going to be heading out to the World Baseball Classic, which I'm excited to watch. I'm just like, what? Don't get hurt and don't come back and like do well there like Turner did before and completely S the bed. But Turner today went 2 hits, 1 run scored, 2 for 2 with 1 run scored, an RBI and a walk. He's batting .250 right now with an .875 again. Realmuto was 1 for 2 today with a run scored, 1 walk and a strikeout. He's batting a .333 right now with a 1,000 OPS. Schwarber went 0 for 3 today. He's batting a 143 with a 904 OPS with 2 strikeouts today. Garcia went 2 for 3 today, 1 run scored and 1 RBI. He's batting .250. That's, again, these numbers don't mean much. I'm only looking at the guys. Stott is, again, I'm going to be kind of repetitive here. Spring training. But, I kind of like what I've seen from Stott. He's just playing his role better. I think now he knows what his role is. He's playing it better. Too early to worry about the Phillies are going to do this season. I think the worry with the Phillies, to be honest with you, Rob, is really, to be completely and utterly honest, is depth. Because if somebody gets injured or Schwarber has a bad year, Harper doesn't have a great year, Turner doesn't have a great year, it really, especially at the plate, it really starts. It's very little room for error is what I worry about, Rob, to be completely and utterly honest with you. Stott went 1 for 1 with a 1 run scored, an RBI, and 2 walks. So getting on base. He's got a 2.151 OPS. So he's getting on base, and that's what he's supposed to do. And I saw a lineup today. I'm going to talk about at one point a WIP guy that I usually don't always agree with, but if Stott can somehow translate this into the regular season, maybe he's on to something. We'll get into that in a moment. Sosa went 1 for 2 today with 2 RBIs. He's batting a 400 with a 1,000 OPS. Crawford went 1 for 3 today with a 1 strikeout. He's at batting 250 with a 667 OPS. Kemp went 0 for 3. He's batting 100 right now with a 650 OPS. I know we're all high on Otto Kemp right now, but yeah, kind of coming out the gate, a little lackluster. And those are your big names in that 10-2 blast today against the Marlins. Overall runs, let's see, Turner, Rincon, Garcia, Stott, and then Moore had he had 4 RBIs today. He had a big 2-run home run. He had a big day for him. We won't probably smell the majors, but it was a good day for him from a baseball standpoint. Sosa had 2, and that was it. So today, 35 at bats, 10 runs scored off of 14 hits, 5 walks, and only 8 strikeouts. And I think, considering 2 of them came from Kyle himself, and the other 2 came from Kemp, that's not too shabby, right? Runners on scoring possession, 7 for 20, which isn't terrible. It's better than they usually are for them. So that's it. Nola overall, 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run was earned. Like again, that Otto Kemp one to me was a catchable ball, so I'm not putting that on him. He had 2 strikeouts. Trevino won an inning, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned with a walk and 2 Ks. Lazar came out 1 run with a hit, a walk, and a K. And that's about anybody you're really going to care about. They were able to keep their big prospect Snelling. I think he's like the number 2 overall prospect for the Marlins. 1 inning and 1 1/3 of an inning pitched, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Ballooning his ERA again. Spring training. I'm not writing home about it. But your other game, take what we can get from that. Johan Rojas led off. He's batting a 111 so far in this small spring training in February still. He went 1 for 3 today with a 311 OPS. That's not going to get it done. Marchand was 0 for 3 today. Bohm was 0 for 2, but he got 1 run scored. He walked and 1 strikeout. Cairo had a big day for himself today. 2 for 3, 2 runs batted in. And that's pretty much who you're going to care about at this point. Pitching-wise, Cabrera went 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 strikeout with a 0 ERA so far this spring, which not much to write home about. Ranhellen, not so much. 2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs. All 3 of them earned a strikeout, and I let up a homer. And that's really all you're looking at from this standpoint. But overall, I know you're not hearing about stats on spring training on February 27th, but it's just you gotta have to look at things on an individual note. What I've seen or heard too has also been positive. The one thing is, turning lemons into lemonade, maybe. This being Alec Boehm's possible last year as the Phillies and contract year, he said, per Ken Rosenthal, something I saw on Twitter, he had grown leaner, working to become a more explosive with his lower half. Boehm has said his goal is to get his body in the right position for his swing, catch the ball further out in front, and become as difficult and out as possible. The Phillies like that he seems on edge. Well, of course he's on edge. His job can, pretty much counts on it right now. Like he really needs to have a stellar season for the the Phillies to even think about keeping him around. And even then, if Ada Miller's ready to come up, what do you do with him? Can't put him in first. He's going to play off the bench, and he's going to want a contract. So somebody will sign him. I mean, but I kind of he should have a killer instinct. He really hasn't. he can go cold, and this is it, man. It's time to get paid. You ain't the daycare anymore, bud. You and Stott, it's time to nut up or shut up, as we always say. And this might be the one blessing for this year that we have Bohm in this kind of situation. That he needs to put it all out front, so you're gonna get the best Bohm we can. I'm just hoping this team's philosophy has changed for real. I mean, I kind of saw a glimpse of it early last season, but then it kind of got away from them, where just get the ball and play. Maybe like even with Garcia, guy needs a little bit of a resurrecting. Maybe just getting on base is important for him instead of trying to blast the ball out of. Listen, he was in Rangers Stadium, and it's a bigger stadium. Maybe playing at home at Citizens Bank Park will be beneficial for him. We'll find out. But the problem is, it's a lot of hope and wants, or hopes and ifs, for the Phillies, and to have a perfect every all the stars align. It's gonna be a difficult swallow. On other Phillies news, and I want to play this little clip for you, and then I want to wish our boy Matt Stairs a happy 58th birthday.
And a 3-1 pitch. Swing at a high fly ball. Deep right field. Ethier turns and he watches this one sail deep into the pavilion seats in right. Phillies lead in the 8th on a pinch hit. 2-run home run from Matt Stairs. 7-5.
Everybody remembers that. Everybody remembers that one. That literally, you could see Jonathan Broxton die inside from that one. Like, that's when the Phillies literally, like a vampire, stabbed him in the heart, like destroyed Jonathan Broxton. That was it. That was the death of Jonathan Broxton right there. And I think it just was downhill from him there ever since with the Phillies and career-wise. But I love that call. That's why I picked that one instead of the TV one. Plus, hometown, all that stuff. Fransky and all that in LA. And dude, I love that LA goes, holy shit. It just, I love it. I love that call. That's one of my favorite all-time calls. I know everybody goes, the Harry Kalas when they win the World Series in 2008 is one of their favorites. Of course, that's just kind of a give me, but one of the most classic calls. And then the holy shit slipping through, and you can hear LA in the background, just being a fan, man. Like that was fun. That was a good time. Yeah, he's 58 today. Happy birthday, Matt Stairs. I actually had a chance to interview him. I wish if I had the time to go look through my old YouTube page and videos, and if I could find that interview with Matt Stairs, that would be cool. I met him. Actually, I have a signed card by him. I met him, and I went just to this memorabilia convention, and he was there, and there's a lot of people there, and then it kind of died off pretty quickly. So I was like towards the last in line. So when he got done, I looked behind me. There was like nobody there, and I was at the time with the EOP. And I was wearing my EOP hoodie, and I took an opportunity. It was still early on. I'm like, I know you're working, bud, and you get paid and all that. Like, can I just pull my phone out and just talk to you for like 5 minutes or less? Like, if you say no, you say no. I'll be all right. He's like, dude, you can stay here as long as you want until people leave. I have no problem. Nicest guy in the world. Signed my card for me, that whole 9 yards. But, happy birthday, Matt Stairs. And again, one of my favorite calls, like, holy shit. Like that, just letting it slide, man. Just letting it fly. Like that's something I could see myself doing, like being the color commentary guy for Phillies baseball, which would, oh God, be a dream job of mine. I actually did. Oh man, if I could find that video. I did. There was a contest at a bar, a pretty big bar in Philadelphia, where they were muting. They put the game out on the wall, like a big 100-inch projector or screen or whatever. The game was outside on the wall. It was a night game, and they had a contest, and they let two guys, and we could mix it up or whatever, call 2 innings at a time, and I got the biggest round of applause and kind of won it. It was kind of a cool moment for me. The other guys were pretty good too, man. So it wasn't like I was like, all right, here's a guy who's been talking on the microphone for a while. Still kind of early in my podcasting career, And I've never called a game. I mean, there's a whole bigger difference in that. I don't have a person behind me feeding me paper like, oh yeah, that's so and so from that university and from grew up in California, Southern California, and blah blah blah. So you don't have that. So luckily it was a Phillies game. I knew a lot about the players, but I was able to keep the energy up and not talk over it the whole time. Like I've never done it before, so like I did my best Fransky impression, and it was pretty cool. I wish I could find that. Hey everybody, what's going on, Joe? Just stopping to show love. I hate the walking and the walking and foaming. Okay. The other video I want to play was the Zach Wheeler. Had some really really good and interesting stuff. So let's play that for a second.
I didn't know how to feel yesterday or know what I was going to feel like yesterday, but felt good, felt smooth, natural. I feel like I'm a little different than most guys. I kind of just throw, and just depends on the year. Sometimes I've thrown none off the mound before I came in. Sometimes I've thrown 4 or 5 times off the mound before I came in. So depends on how I came out of the year before, if I was a little banged up or not, and how the throwing progressions go in that off season. So it just depends. There's been years where I came in and I'm basically where I'm at right now. So, I mean, it's a little different, but at the same time, I'm not too far behind.
There's a lot of promise in those words, and that's the biggest thing ever for me. Because first part, Zach Wheeler's not a guy to mince words, which I think is great. And one of the things I love about him, he kind of Roy Halladay-esque, like just when he's game day, he's hyper focused. He takes every ball and strike personally. What up, Mickey? But the key thing is he says he felt good, and anybody could say that after that. I felt good, I didn't feel that bad. The one thing he said is that I kind of feel like I could be here sometimes normally, which is a big thing. So, he's not going to be ready for opening day, and I'm okay with that. There's no reason to rush him back. But we get him back April 1st. Or not April 1st, they're saying like 15-day DL, like 2 weeks, couple, like, even if it's May 1st, I'm okay with that. Really am. 7 years ago, I believe Harper signs with the Phillies. Yeah, it would have been right about this time. Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly today, but right about this time. Wheeler back to his old, I don't know if he's back to his old form just yet, Rob, but all signs pointing in the right direction now. If he can just be the same dominant self, this is a different type of injury, like from Tommy John or a back or a neck injury or a shoulder injury. Sorry about that. It's a different injury. Like it's a medical condition. It could be a long-lasting medical condition, and hopefully not something that puts him down. But I mean, the guy's not much younger, so hopefully enough to let him get through the next couple of years without any real injury and not have to have any long-term issues. God forbid. But very positive. That video is very positive. A good piece, as I've agreed with Matty B, the one thing I don't worry about is with the pitching so far with the Phillies. And, if he can be healthy with Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, if Andrew Painter could be a decent 3 or 4 guy, Aaron Nola can have I won't call it a complete resurgence, but it'd be a solid 2. But in the 3 spot, 4 spot, I'm excited, like from a pitching standpoint. The depth on the roster otherwise is that's what scares me. So what I was going to tell you about with the Phillies, sorry, I'm trying to pull it up here. My producer's off tonight. Like I said, WIP, Joe Giglio put out his perfect Phillies lineup with the team that they have right now, right? And he had an interesting lineup that most of us probably just didn't have. He had Bryson Stott at 1, which is the big difference. Trey Turner at 2, Bryce at 3, Kyle at 4, Bohm at 5, Marsh at 6, Garcia at 7, Remuto at 8, and Crawford at 9. I might make some changes in that 6, 7, 8, maybe even 5, 6, 7, 8 hole, but if Bryson Stott can get on base like he's been in spring training and have that translate over into the majors, first part, if he can be a solid hitter and the second baseman we know he can be, I mean, he's going to get a contract and we'll be good for at second base for a while. But if Bryson can play like that, I'd be on board for this because him leading off, Trey at 2, that's 2 speedy guys at the top of the order, gives Bryce a chance to get some guys home. Kyle needs to be in 4. Maybe Alec, depending on how he's playing, batting at 5, protecting Kyle a little bit if he's hitting okay, doing well. Brandon Marsh, I'm hoping Garcia's higher on the list than Marsh, to be honest with you. That's probably where I won't agree with it too much. But even JT, I think Marsh would probably be at number 8. And if you have 8 and then 9 Crawford, and Crawford actually does okay, and Marsh does okay, you got Marsh, Crawford, Bryson, and Turner in a 4-way swing with a lot of speed on the bases. So I don't hate this. If everything was perfect in a perfect world, if Bryson can do that, I would be all on board with this. I don't even think Matty B would disagree with me, and he disagrees with me on everything. I'm meeting Joe Embiid and Maxey in March for Special Olympics. Joe, that's awesome. That is cool. You got to take a picture and send me. I'll put it up on the screen. I'd love to see that. But speaking of Maxey, since you brought it up, I would love to talk about his milestone as of closing on he broke that 76ers career 3-point record, which is huge. That's awesome. Tyrese Maxey, I just hope we don't waste his career. I would feel bad for him, like literally feel bad for him. They're one of the guys I'm like, depending on what they do in this offseason, like if they can unload, one of these big contracts. I'll be honest with you, I kind of almost bought into the Embiid thing again. They almost got me, but I didn't. They can unload him, and they got a lot of draft capital, and build some young guys that build around him and do some good drafting. Then he'll be okay. But if not, they're wasting the great man's career. They really are. He's just a stand-up individual. He's like him and Devonta Smith feel like they're cut from the same cloth from a personality and a work ethic standpoint and just a selfless standpoint. Like I don't see the diva in those two guys. And to me, it's like a good personality, overall character connection with the two of those guys. And that's what makes, I think, Devonta Smith an even better. The only thing is people can really give him a check mark against is he's undersized, but he doesn't play like that. But he's pretty sure-handed, like 99% of the time. He has a drop ball. Everybody gets a drop ball in here, but for the most part, he is a sure-handed individual. He battles for it. He can go up and battle with anybody. He is never going to let you down. He's going to work for that extra yard, and he's going to. And if you don't get a ball thrown him for 3 weeks in a row, you're going to say 2 words about it. Tyrese Maxey reminds me of the same kind of guy. Like he's humbled, but he plays like a superstar, which he is. Yeah. Now, listen, Rob. I'm not believing this isn't a projection at all. This lineup is in a perfect world scenario. In a perfect world, if everybody's playing to potential, then I would love that. That would be a almost perfect lineup to me. I don't know if I would say Brandon Marsh over the top of Garcia. I mean, if everybody's playing up to either close or to potential, Garcia is almost going to be the 5 guy at that point. What he's capable of, especially with those tree trunk like arms that he's got flexing over there. Man's a beast. I mean, I hope not, Rob. Rob thinks Sixers are going to kill Maxi's career. This offseason is going to be a big one for the Sixers, to be honest with you. Like, what do they do with these two aging guys? Can they get rid of PG? Can they get rid of Joel? Can they do something with them? Can they get them out of the way? You know, I'm not buying into him like he's going to be useful. Like, I bought into the point like, oh well, maybe Joel, you know, can stay healthy because they don't need to use him every day. I don't know, man. It's just that guy can't stay healthy, and it's you know that's kind of the curse of being an athletic big man. Like your days are numbered. I mean, he's an injury prone guy. I mean, even with the weird you know, nagging injuries like 2 broken orbitals. Who in their career gets to say that in the playoffs? Like, just guy's got like a little black cloud that follows him around when it comes to just being injured at the wrong time. I know a lot of people are feeling the Phillies lineup is weak outside of the Schwarber, Turner, Harper threesome. I don't believe. I mean, a little deeper than that, but you know, we're putting a lot of bank on Crawford and Painter, and I think that's where you saw a lot of Bryce Harper's discontent more than just the non-elite situation. Is that he knows he's not getting any younger, and his team does. You know, this year didn't feel like they were making all the right moves, and even the way he said, "I didn't think Kyle was going to be back. I thought he was going to go to Cincinnati." He didn't say, "I didn't think Kyle's going to be back because the Phillies couldn't afford Kyle." He said, "I don't think Kyle's going to be back because he thought he was going to go to Cincinnati because he thought the Phillies were going to move on from him and bring in some other players to put around them and make some, like we all kind of thought, some massive, you know, changes to this team." Obviously that didn't happen. I mean, and I like Garcia, but he's a big, you know, it's another one of those reclamation projects. Maybe it happens. Maybe the change of scenery. Maybe he can get back to some sort of form that we saw 2 years ago or before. But I hate playing that maybe game. But you know, maybe it's just what it is that he needs to change. The other, you know, the other thing is the Eagles' free agency. There has been some conversation about free agency. Of course, the AJ Brown thing we discussed. Nakobe Dean, you know, currently apparently the all points are pointing to him being gone and Dallas to be the suitor. Hey, Nakobe, as much as I loved you when you're here, you're dead to me once that happens. I hate to break it to you. You are dead to me once you put on that Dallas star. It's just the way it is. But you know, it would be typical of Cowboys to pick up a linebacker who can't stay healthy. I mean, I don't know why, but I mean, maybe they can get him for you know, a song or something like that. But and he's a really good player when he's playing and he's healthy. Kobe Dean is a great player. But other than that, I don't know, you know, why the Eagles would even think about keeping Dean because it would probably be very not cost effective. As you all know, the NFL had confirmed today that the 2026 salary cap will be $301.2 million per club, which is about a $22 million uptick from last year, which is good. So you know, it's just a lot of decisions have to be made on Jalen Carter, on Jordan Davis, a lot of the rookies that are upcoming. You know, I'm wondering from the reports out there that the Eagles were really watching tight ends, and there's some tight ends put on some shows down there that, you know, maybe Howie breaks the mold and doesn't go tight end or goes tight end in the first round if there's somebody really available. But I really do doubt that. I still think they go into the trenches this one way or the other for the first pick But I wonder if just because they're trying to because you got to make space for Jordan or Jalen Carter, and you can move some contracts around to a point, but overall, Dallas Goedert is going to be expensive. Contract year, he's probably the best in my eyes, maybe next to Kyle Pitts, second best if you really want to argue the facts. He is. It may be cheaper for them to go into that realm, and even from a Reed Blankenship point, I mean, he could be a Dallas Cowboy along with Nakobe Dean. Our Christian Parker's over there. And I'm sure he would love to pick up some of those guys who, they could afford because they're affordable but really good, savvy players. At least in the scheme what we have. I don't know how that translates over into another scheme because that also plays a factor. But you put on that Dallas start, you're dead to me, my friend. The Eagles need to go for offensive line in the first round. I would agree with you, but here's my thing with that. And I'll tell you the only argument against that I have is, would you, because you have Lane coming back this year, would you want to get your right tackle of the future and put him on 1 year working next to him? Because even though they said Tyler Steen is the guard this year, like they pretty much, Howie said he's our right guard this year, which I thought was a pretty bold statement for Howie to make on February 27th, to be honest with you. But do you want your first year of a 5-year rookie deal to be kind of in the waiting, or wasted, if you want to call it for that? And that's the only reason I can see where maybe that isn't the case. So right now with the upcoming events, I want to talk about that. So tomorrow, NFL scouting combines, wide receiver, running back, quarterback workouts. And then O-line is March 1st. And then legal tampering period opens up on March 9th. And then we know right after that is free agency. And then 2026 draft in Pittsburgh, April 23rd through the 25th. So some dates that are really creeping up on us quickly. It's going to be here before we know it. But I'm telling you, go on Twitter. It's the best way to watch the scouting stuff. I go on ESPN a little bit too. It's great in the morning too. Get your bowl of cereal or whatever, your cup of coffee, sit there and watch it. And I just sit with my yellow notepad in front of me and just almost like I'm a scout. Like it's kind of something I can't turn off. Just evaluating players, especially the O-line. I just like watch these big men move, and especially this day and age, just freaks of nature. Like I coach young kids, 12, 13 years old, and some of these guys are really big kids for 13 years old. And I'm not just saying that. Guys like I wouldn't even think to be that big when I was 13 years old. And athletic, just I don't know what they're putting in their food that's making them this way. There's all the hormones and the meat weed. I have no clue, but it's pretty amazing, to be honest with you. Brandon Graham, the other piece of news, it says he sent a strong message today regarding his status for the 2026 season, indicating a desire to remain with the team, which is a little funny in some ways to me. Like if they needed him, I get it. But you just retired, bro. They brought you back because they needed a little veteran leadership, apparently. Do you really want to come back? And do you know what? Why not do like some other guys do and just wait for the second half of the season to come around? Just wait for the second half of the season. If they need you, they bring you in. And if not, you just relax on your couch. I mean, that's kind of a great little thing to have as a team. Like a guy who still has some gas in the tank, can do the workouts, play well. Bring them in November or late October, early November. Let him get 3 or 4 games under his belt to get it going, and then by the end of the season, he gets going, got fresh legs. I don't know. I don't know. And I know Sirianni expressed that he really feels that Hurts will flourish or thrive or whatever you want to call it in Sean Mannion's new system. I'm excited to see what he's got. I mean, at this point, I'm over the mysteriousness. I'm over just talking about offensive coordinators, to be honest with you, and people gaga Googling over people who have just been utter failures. And that's something I'll never understand. And I'm not going to get on that soapbox right now, but it's just something I would never understand how people were all over McDaniel, Daboll, failures. Guys were just utter failures. And even stroking Harbaugh a little bit makes no sense to me. I mean, he's had a top flight quarterback in a little overrated in my eyes, but Lamar Jackson couldn't, had some brief moments of almost success. But if I'm going by the Matty B sticking, ruler of success, which is pretty much a blank ruler except for the top, it says championship. No, he hasn't in a very long time. Barely has really made any waves in the playoffs. And when he had a chance to, he kind of completely essed the bed. I don't want to hear anything about the Patrick Mahomes theory. We all had to deal with that. We all know how that played out. And he's had some of the most stellar defenses. He's had some major offensive weapons, and he still couldn't get it done. But you think because he goes to the Giants, and I know people sitting there saying, and I'm not disagreeing that he's probably a better coach than Nick Sirianni. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But if you're just going by production or what they've done in the last 5, well, I guess it would have to be 5 years because that's how Nick Sirianni's been around for. Nick Sirianni blows them out of the freaking water, but it's not here nor there. I just never understood people gushing over guys who really have not proved anything in my eyes. I don't get it. You guys tell me. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And why people gush over these guys. Like, what did McDaniels do? He had Tyreek Hill. He had Jalen Waddle when he was really good. He had Tua, who was supposed to be better than Jalen. And he couldn't get it done. He had Vic Fangio, who we had, and in 1 year we were able to get him his first Super Bowl and get us our second Super Bowl. Why would we want McDaniel? Why did anybody think that was a good idea? I it boggles my mind. I read on Facebook today Cowboys want to interview the Eagles OC. About what? They're going to make him a head coach. That's the only thing they could do at this point. The only way you could steal that OC is by giving them an upgrade. And the only upgrade would be becoming the head coach. You got to be careful. Facebook puts out a lot. There's a lot of bot bullshit out there. I'm going to be honest with you, Rob. A lot of stuff that looks legitimate that's not even close. That sounds like a clickbait, click on my link, comment, rage bait, whatever the hell you want to call it, type post. Why in the hell? I'm sure I would have heard something about it. But what could they do with him? That's my thing. What can they do with it? Or do with an interview with him? I don't get it. I don't. I'm just kind of at a loss for words on that one. What would they get out of it? I mean, I could be right. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know what you're talking about per se, but there is a lot of clickbait, fake links. If you ever click on something, and the big thing now is to put the comment or to put the link for whatever story or whatever, what's it called? Whatever they put out. And then if you see this really long one, read it. Like, you'll see right away because I've never heard of it before. It's not like a legitimate one. It's usually you don't click the link. Be careful. It might even be more than just that. I'll actually open them right now for the last 10 minutes here. So let me, Mike, put that into the stream here for you, and then I'll give you guys a moment to come in. But because I kind of covered a lot of the stuff I said, I kind of ran through it pretty quickly. And from a news standpoint, it's been pretty quiet. Just watching spring training, kind of I'm going through my wife's laughing at me. She goes, "Why are you going through so many notepads? Why are you just writing and writing?" I'm like, I don't know how to not watch a game and not write something down, or take a note, or put a tweet out, or whatever it is. I should just start tweeting it more, because before I would take the notes and then occasionally tweet. But now I do like more just taking notes because sometimes Twitter bothers me. Sometimes it doesn't. I just like putting my thoughts out there. But I got book after book. She goes, "What are you gonna do with that notes?" I'm like, probably nothing. I'll scan them in and send them to somebody if they want to read them, or maybe the Phillies will call me up and ask me for my notes, which I highly doubt they will anytime soon. I'm actually getting myself ready because I'm going to start coaching football in not too distant future again, and I get my it's how I get my ideas to come up with. You ask my guys, I have forms upon forms of like evaluation forms that I have that like when we're doing training camps and stuff like that. That is like I'm like here's a way to evaluate, like an easy way like to grade guys, and it allows us to grade it for them, so we don't have to come up with a grade like, oh, I use an A or a B. Like we just kind of break down the details, and then the grades come in together. So I got equations in my brain. I'm like a beautiful mind, but not a beautiful face for analysis in that sense. Yeah, but like I said, right now, if you don't want to watch it on TV, Twitter is a great tool at this standpoint to go look at all the great. But right now, you're getting all the highlights. You're not seeing everybody. But some of these cornerbacks and safeties are just lightning fast, man. That's why I'm saying I think Reed is gone because they're going to go cheaper and get those guys. And speaking of lightning fast, he's lightning fast to the lines. Michael Papernick, brother, what is going on? You there? Not hearing you, Mikey P. Hold on 1 second. Let me just check something. Sorry, guys. Yeah, the audio is working on my end. Mike, I can't hear you. If you're there, say hello. All right. Well, we'll come back to you, Mike. I'm gonna leave you on air so you can see. If not, you can come back on. I'll check. I think I hear something. Mike, you there, buddy? Breaking up. Whatever it is, you're breaking up. I'm gonna have to drop you out. I don't know if he was drinking something there. It sounds like it's like something coming out of a bottle. Maybe he's having a quick beer. So Mike, I'll give you a second. I'll come back in and see if we get a better connection. Let's try one more time. Mike, you there, buddy? Mike? All right. I still don't hear him. I hear wind. Sounds like he's in a car or something. Mike, why don't you click off and come back in? I'll give you a second to come back in before I close off the show. So yeah, check out this guy. I know the Eagles have had some meetings with prospects, including the wide receiver Deion Burks. I know he's fast, strong, kind of a little bit of an AJ Brown body type, not exactly the same. But they also are looking real deep at defensive backs and tight ends. So they might be looking to go younger there, which, damn, we have a pretty young defense. Even what we have now is fairly young, but even younger. And I know they added another, I forget who it was. I forget the name of the guy. I didn't know him. They added another coaching or defensive assistant of some sort today. I feel like they're getting ready for the post-2020, post-2026 Eagles, because I'm guessing Vic Fangio, this is his last year. I mean, that's got to take a shot in the dark. I think Mike's back. I'm going to give him one more shot here. Give me a second here. Mike, you there, buddy? Mikey. Yeah, Mike, you're still not there. I'll give you a second, but yeah, you're still not there. I sure hope they are. I wonder if internally they have a guy being groomed to be the next, is it Clint Hurt, or somebody like that? Like, is he being groomed? Because you have to prepare for that. It's another wrinkle the Eagles have to worry about. I mean, at least you know where you stand. I kind of feel like they should have done this last year, knowing that he might, do it again. But I don't know. Maybe it's something he does every year. Maybe this is a Vic Fangio type thing. But I mean, I hope we don't have to go through that again. I mean, I hope they're pretty prepared to move on defensively come 2027, because we're going to need a lot of good football, because we might not have much baseball. God only knows. Even Bryce Harper, when he was interviewed recently, he feels like that the 2027 season is not going to start off on time. He was asked, does he feel like the 2027 season will happen at all? He said yes, because ultimately he said it's about the game and they want to ruin the game. But we're willing to hold out a little bit to put a little pressure on the teams because every game that's not played is lost revenue to them as much. It's a lost paycheck to them. So I mean, it's a guys like, here's the thing is guys like Bryce Harper can afford to lose a month of paycheck. Guys like Alec Boehm or Bryson Stott or guys on smaller deals, even Christopher Sanchez, because they have a hell of a deal on him. They can't do that. So there's a lot to look at the future. The Eagles have to prepare for the new Mannion era, offensively, what they're going to do, and big planning on big contracts coming up from the defensive side standpoint. And then also like the future of the defensive coordinator is in play here. So the only other news I really wanted to touch on, we talked about Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, a little bit of a positive start. Hopefully, like I said, I'm not expecting him to be a 1, but if I can get a 2 out of him, I'm good. Even if he's working out a 3 spot, if he can pitch like a 2, that's huge. Aiden Miller remains day to day at this point. With a grade 1 hamstring strain, hopefully he'll throw off. I mean, he's with low back soreness, not hamstring. Sorry, that was the other guy. That's Ryan Kirkering. Day to day with lower back soreness, with no firm timetable for his spring debut. That kind of sucks. I'm not saying I really was thinking he would make it over like Boehm or anything, but kind of wanted to see a little bit of maybe a little heat put on Alec Boehm. To be completely honest. But Ryan Kirkering recovering from a grade 1 hamstring strain is hopefully be thrown off the mound by Sunday, March 1st. That is positive. And I really hope that whatever like sports psychology they had to do or the help that they had to get him, because I mean, he didn't lose that series because the offense really lost that series, but to have a mental fart like that to cost the team the series and the playoffs, that's a lot to come back from. So his resolve is going to be pretty interesting to figure out, to see how he bounces back. And like we talked about Zach Wheeler earlier, AJ Brown, I'm certainly not, he's not going to leave, but I think it's an up in the air. I think this go any which way. Somebody's willing to pay. That's all that matters. But other than that, guys, that's about it for tonight. We're at the hour mark anyway. So, Mike, sorry I couldn't get you on. I really wanted to hear what you have to say. But next time I will get you on. Maybe I'll talk to Mike about Sunday. We'll see what we can do on that one. Open the lines. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you as always for joining me on a Friday night. I know it's long days, long work days. Things are crazy. But I appreciate you. You know that. So other than that, guys, ring the bell. Go Birds. And by the way, I had a gripe. I did have one gripe I wanted to bring up. So my son wanted to go to the Flyers game tomorrow. There's a pretty good giveaway. It's a Bruins game, so I know it's expensive. And the tickets are gonna be a little bit more expensive than the Utah Mammoth would be, or something along those lines. But I was thinking about taking them, and for lower level tickets, best I could get is like $175 for like a half decent lower level ticket. Like, I'm not spending $1,000 to take me, my wife, and 2 kids to a hockey game and a Flyers game. I mean, they're not even good this year. Like, they should be paying me to come there. Like, it's a little outrageous, to be honest with you. Like, if you want butts in the seats, that's not the way to do it. And I'm not sitting. Sorry, Xfinity Mobile or wherever it is. I'm not sitting in that top bowl. I'm a big man, and you know those top bowl seats were small. They made them smaller so they can fit more seats up there. They're tight. I can't even pop my hips in there. I don't know if somebody hasn't got hurt in those suckers. So, with that being said, is shame on you, Philadelphia Flyers. Make those tickets a little bit more reasonable, especially now. It's February 27th. I'm not saying you're out of the playoffs, but come on, man. It's probably going to be a slaughtering. But I wanted to take them to see the Bruins Flyers game. I wanted to get them that thing. But I'm like, I can't. $1,000 for a hoodie. I'll go buy them the hoodie. F that noise. I'll buy it on eBay tomorrow when somebody's selling it for $100. Like it's just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and you would especially, with a team like that who's kind of dead in the water for the most part. But that was my one little grab I wanted to bring up. But other than that, guys, have a great night. I'll talk to you soon.